I'm about to show you the one skill that separates six-figure closers from everyone else, and it has nothing to do with your script, your objection handling, or even your English fluency. It's something most closers completely ignore, yet it determines whether a prospect trusts you within the first 10 seconds of a call. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly why confident camera presence is the secret weapon of top international closers, and I'll give you the exact mirror drill system that transforms awkward presenters into magnetic professionals. Most international closers think their English is the problem, but there's something else killing their deals before they even speak. You can have perfect grammar, flawless pronunciation, and know every objection handler in the book, but if your camera presence is off, prospects will mentally check out within seconds. Camera presence affects sales outcomes more than language skills ever will. Think about it. When you hop on a call with a prospect, they're not reading your resume or testing your vocabulary. They're making split-second judgments based on what they see on their screen. The way you hold yourself, your energy level, your eye contact, even how you position yourself in the frame, all of this registers before you say a single word. Here's the shocking truth about how prospects make buying decisions. Research shows that 85% of people prefer video content over text, but what most closers don't realize is that prospects often decide whether to trust you within the first 10 seconds based purely on visual cues. Your facial expressions, body language, and overall presence create an instant impression that either builds trust or triggers doubt. I know two closers who prove this point perfectly. Both are from the same country, both have identical English skills, both know the same scripts. One consistently closes at 35%, the other struggles to hit 15%. The difference? The successful closer learned to project confidence through the camera. He sits up straight, maintains steady eye contact with the lens, and moves with purpose. The other closer slouches, fidgets with his hands, and constantly breaks eye contact to look at his notes. The psychology behind why prospects trust or reject based on camera presence runs deep. When someone sees you on camera, their brain processes hundreds of microsignals instantly. A slight hesitation in your posture signals uncertainty. Avoiding eye contact suggests you're hiding something. Fidgeting with your pen or touching your face creates the impression of nervousness. These aren't conscious thoughts. They happen at a subconscious level where buying decisions actually get made. The specific visual mistakes that cost closers thousands in commissions are more common than you think. Poor posture makes you look unprofessional and low energy. Distracting gestures pull attention away from your words. Bad lighting creates shadows that make you appear untrustworthy. Looking at your screen instead of your camera breaks the connection with your prospect. Even something as simple as having your camera positioned too low makes you appear less authoritative. Most closers are completely unaware of these issues because they've never seen themselves the way prospects see them. You might feel confident during a call, but if your body language is sending different signals, that's what your prospect receives. The disconnect between how you feel and how you appear creates a credibility gap that kills deals before they start. Poor camera presence creates a negative feedback loop that destroys confidence over time. When you don't project confidence visually, prospects respond with less enthusiasm. This lukewarm response makes you feel less confident, which shows up even more in your next call. The cycle continues until you start dreading camera interactions altogether. What started as a visual communication problem becomes a confidence problem that affects every aspect of your sales process. This feedback loop is particularly damaging because it's invisible to most closers. They know something isn't working, but they can't pinpoint the problem. They blame their accent, their script, or their product knowledge. Meanwhile, the real issue is staring them in the face every time they look at their camera. The feeling of awkwardness on camera manifests in visible ways that prospects pick up on immediately. When you're self-conscious, you tend to make yourself smaller, hunching your shoulders, speaking more quietly, or positioning yourself further from the camera. These defensive postures signal weakness to prospects who are looking for someone they can trust with their money. The cost of poor camera presence is massive because prospects decide to buy from people they trust visually. In virtual sales, your camera presence is your first impression, your credibility builder, and your trust signal all rolled into one. When you fail to project confidence and authority through the screen, you're essentially asking prospects to ignore what their eyes are telling them and trust your words instead. The numbers don't lie. Closers who master camera presence consistently outperform those who don't, often by 20% or more. That's the difference between a good month and a great month, between hitting your targets and exceeding them, between building a sustainable business and struggling to pay your bills. But here's what makes this problem particularly frustrating. It's completely fixable. Unlike accent work or script memorization, camera presence can be improved rapidly with the right approach. The skills you need aren't complex or technical. They're simple, practical techniques that anyone can learn and apply immediately. The key is understanding that camera confidence isn't about being naturally charismatic or having perfect lighting equipment. It's about training yourself to project the same confidence you have in person through a different medium. Once you know what to practice and how to practice it, transformation happens faster than most people expect. There's a reason top closers spend time in front of mirrors, and it's not vanity. They understand something that most people miss completely. The mirror shows you exactly what your prospects see when you're on camera. This isn't about checking your hair or adjusting your shirt. It's about discovering the unconscious visual habits that sabotage your sales calls without you even knowing it. The concept of unconscious visual habits is something most closers never consider. You might think you know how you look during a sales call, but your body operates on autopilot in ways that can destroy your credibility. These habits develop over years of regular conversation where nobody's watching you closely. When you suddenly put yourself on camera in a high-stakes sales environment, these patterns become magnified and obvious to anyone looking at their screen. Most people have no idea what they actually look like on camera. The version of yourself you see in the bathroom mirror is completely different from what shows up on a video call. Lighting changes everything. Camera angles distort your proportions. The delay between your movements and what appears on screen creates a disconnect that affects your natural timing. Most importantly, the way you position yourself and move when you think you're being watched is entirely different from your relaxed, natural state. The disconnect between how we think we appear versus reality is massive. In your mind, you're sitting up straight, making great eye contact, and gesturing confidently. In reality, you might be slouching, looking down at your notes every few seconds, and making distracting hand movements that pull attention away from your words. This gap between perception and reality is why so many closers feel confident during calls, but get poor results. They're operating based on false feedback about their own performance. The specific unconscious habits that kill deals are more common than you think. Fidgeting with pens, papers, or anything within reach signals nervousness to prospects. Poor posture makes you appear low energy and unprofessional. Touching your face or hair suggests anxiety or dishonesty. Looking away from the camera breaks the connection with your prospect and makes you seem distracted or untrustworthy. Even something as simple as nodding too much can make you appear desperate for approval. Some closers develop a habit of adjusting their position constantly during calls. They lean forward, then back, then to the side, creating a restless energy that makes prospects uncomfortable. Others fall into repetitive gesture patterns, pointing at the screen, tapping their desk, or making the same hand movements over and over. These patterns become invisible to you, but stand out clearly to anyone watching. The science behind why mirror practice works for building self-awareness is straightforward. When you practice in front of a mirror, you're creating a feedback loop between your actions and your visual perception. Your brain starts to connect how movements feel with how they look. This connection helps you develop control over your unconscious habits by making them conscious. The mirror doesn't lie or sugarcoat, it shows you exactly what others see. Regular mirror practice trains your brain to monitor your visual presentation automatically. After a few weeks of consistent practice, you'll start noticing when you're fidgeting or slouching during real calls. This awareness is the first step toward controlling these habits. The mirror becomes your training partner, giving you instant feedback on every movement and expression. Recording yourself reveals blind spots you never knew existed. The record and review method is powerful for improving communication skills. You can watch your recording with the volume off to assess body language, then with the volume on to evaluate clarity and diction. Finally, transcribing your speech helps identify and address filler words and other verbal habits. This systematic approach uncovers issues that mirror practice alone might miss. When you watch yourself on recording, you'll notice things that feel completely different from how you remember the experience. Your voice might sound different, your gestures might seem exaggerated or too small. Your eye contact patterns become obvious. The recording captures details that you miss in real time because you're focused on the conversation content rather than your presentation. The transformation that happens when you see yourself clearly is immediate and powerful. Most people are shocked the first time they watch watch themselves on camera. They discover habits they never knew they had. They realize their posture is different from what they imagine. They notice that their energy level doesn't match their internal feeling. This moment of clarity is uncomfortable but necessary for improvement. Once you see these patterns clearly, you can't unsee them. Your awareness level jumps permanently. You start noticing not just your own habits, but how other people present themselves on camera. You begin to understand why certain people seem more confident and trustworthy on screen while others don't. The mystery of camera presence starts to make sense. Mirror practice reveals unconscious habits that sabotage sales calls by creating awareness of distracting behaviors. When you can see these patterns clearly, you can work to change them. The mirror becomes your diagnostic tool, showing you exactly what needs improvement. This awareness is the foundation for developing authentic camera confidence that translates into better sales results. You can spot fake confidence from a mile away, but true camera confidence has specific markers most people miss. When someone tries too hard to look confident, it shows up in their body language, their voice, and especially in their micro-expressions. The difference between looking confident and actually projecting confidence goes way deeper than most closers realize. The difference between looking confident and actually projecting confidence is like the difference between wearing a costume and being comfortable in your own skin. Looking confident is about surface-level actions, sitting up straight, speaking louder, making more eye contact. Projecting confidence comes from alignment between your story, voice, and delivery. When these elements match up, you create genuine trust and connection with your prospects. Trying to act confident often backfires and makes you look less trustworthy than if you just acted naturally. This happens because of what researchers call the rehearsal versus real trap. When you focus on memorizing lines and projecting an image rather than authentically conveying your message, you end up with a robotic delivery that prospects can sense immediately. Your audience picks up on the disconnect between what you're saying and how you're really feeling. The specific visual markers of authentic confidence on camera are more subtle than most people think. Natural body language, including open hand gestures and relaxed posture, serves as a key visual marker of authentic confidence. These signals tell prospects you're trustworthy and approachable. Your shoulders stay relaxed instead of tensed up. Your hands move naturally when you talk instead of staying locked in position. Your face shows genuine expressions instead of forced smiles. Micro-expressions are another crucial indicator of genuine confidence. These are subtle and fleeting facial expressions that reveal underlying emotions and intentions. They're involuntary expressions that are difficult to control or mask, making them a reliable marker of true confidence versus a performed persona. When you're genuinely confident, your micro-expressions match your words. When you're faking it, there's a mismatch that prospects notice subconsciously. The way body language, eye contact, and micro-expressions work together creates either authenticity or sends mixed signals. Real confidence shows up as steady eye contact that doesn't feel forced or staring. Your gestures support your words instead of distracting from them. Your facial expressions change naturally as you talk through different points. Everything works together like a well-tuned instrument instead of fighting against each other. In sales contexts, the difference between confident and insecure camera presence is obvious once you know what to look for. The confident closer sits back comfortably in their chair without slouching. They gesture naturally within the camera frame instead of making wild movements or keeping their hands completely still. They maintain eye contact with the camera lens, not with their own image on screen. Their voice tone matches their energy level. The insecure closer does the opposite. They lean forward too much, trying to get closer to the camera. They fidget with pens or papers. They look away from the camera constantly to check their notes or their appearance on screen. Their voice doesn't match their body language. They might sound confident but look nervous or vice versa. Authentic confidence comes from competence, not performance. In sales context, this means your confidence stems from genuine belief in the value you're offering rather than a polished act. When you know your product inside and out, when you've helped other clients get results, when you understand exactly how you can solve your prospect's problem, that knowledge creates real confidence that shows up naturally on camera. This is why the best closers don't need to try to look confident. They are confident because they know they can deliver results. Their authenticity allows them to build trust faster with potential clients because prospects can sense their genuine commitment. This approach works better than trying to act confident, which often comes across as insincere or untrustworthy. Prospects can sense authenticity through the screen in ways that might surprise you. They pick up on whether your energy feels natural or forced. They notice when your words match your body language versus when there's a disconnect. They can tell when you're speaking from experience versus when you're reciting something you memorized. memorized. This ability to detect authenticity happens mostly at a subconscious level, but it drives buying decisions. The trust mirror exercise can help build this authenticity. This involves reflecting on your lived experiences and identifying stories from your life that you can use to guide others. When you share earned experiences, you guide your audience and build trust rather than trying to impress or confess. You focus on lessons learned and transformations experienced rather than trying to sound perfect. The difference between looking confident and actually projecting confidence lies in authenticity and specific visual markers that work together naturally. When your story, voice, and delivery align, you create the kind of trust that converts prospects into buyers. This alignment can't be faked or performed. It has to be developed through genuine competence and self-awareness. This three-step mirror drill system has transformed awkward presenters into magnetic closers in just 30 days. What makes this system different from random practice is its structure. You're not just standing in front of a mirror hoping to get better. You're following a specific process that builds visual communication skills systematically. The specific mirror drill exercises that build visual communication skills work because they target the exact areas where most closers struggle. These exercises focus on three core elements: facial expressions, body positioning, and gesture control. Each element builds on the previous one, creating a foundation of confident camera presence that translates directly to sales calls. Most people practice wrong and waste months without improvement because they don't follow a structured approach. They stand in front of their mirror, practice their pitch a few times, and think they're making progress. Without a systematic method, you're just reinforcing bad habits instead of building new ones. The result is months of effort with minimal improvement. The exact three-phase mirror drill system starts with expression work. Phase 1 focuses purely on facial expressions and eye contact. Stand 3 feet from your mirror and practice different emotional states: enthusiasm, concern, confidence, and empathy. Hold each expression for 10 seconds while maintaining eye contact with your reflection. This trains your face to show the emotions you want prospects to see. During expression practice, focus on your eyebrows, mouth positioning, and overall facial tension. Your eyebrows should move naturally when you speak, not stay frozen in place. Your mouth should form words clearly without over-exaggerating. Most importantly, your entire face should look relaxed and natural, not forced or strained. Phase 2 moves to posture and positioning work. Practice sitting in your sales chair while watching yourself in the mirror. Your back should be straight but not rigid. Your shoulders should be relaxed and level. Your head should be positioned so you're looking slightly up at the mirror, mimicking the angle you'd have when looking at your camera. Work on your hand positioning during this phase. Your hands should rest naturally on your desk or in your lap when you're not gesturing. When you do gesture, your movements should stay within the mirror frame, just like they would need to stay within your camera frame during actual calls. Phase 3 combines everything with full presentation practice. This is where you practice your actual sales conversations while watching yourself in the mirror. Start with your opening, move through discovery questions, and practice handling common objections. The mirror gives you instant feedback on how your expressions match your words. The key to practicing expressions, gestures, and body language effectively is consistency and focus. Work on one element at a time instead of trying to improve everything simultaneously. Spend 5 minutes on expressions, 5 minutes on posture, and 5 minutes on full presentation practice. This 15-minute routine covers all 3 phases without overwhelming you. Your gestures should support your words, not distract from them. Practice pointing gestures for emphasis, open hand gestures for explanation, and counting gestures for listing benefits. Each gesture should be deliberate and controlled, not random or excessive. The optimal frequency and duration for mirror practice sessions is 15 minutes daily, 3 times per week. This schedule gives you enough practice to build muscle memory without burning out. The research shows that confidence is built through consistent repetition, and this frequency provides the right balance of challenge and recovery. Daily practice sessions should follow the same structure every time. Start with 2 minutes of expression work, then 5 minutes of posture practice, and finish with 8 minutes of full presentation work. This progression warms up your skills and builds to the most challenging element. Combining mirror work with self-recording creates maximum impact because you get 2 different types of feedback. The mirror gives you real-time feedback during practice. Recording gives you objective feedback after practice. Together, they create a complete picture of your progress and areas for improvement. The recording process should happen every few days, not daily. Set up your camera in the same position you use for sales calls. Record yourself going through a complete presentation while looking at the camera, not at your mirror. This gives you the same experience your prospects have when they watch you. When you review your recordings, watch them 3 times. First time with sound off to focus on body language. Second time with sound on to check your vocal delivery. Third time while taking notes about specific areas to work on in your next mirror session. The rapid transformation possible with consistent practice happens because of what researchers call the 10-minute confidence loop. This involves writing down a belief or tip, recording yourself saying it, and then reflecting on the recording. The process builds familiarity with being on camera through repetition. Motor learning principles show that confidence comes from consistent repetition, not waiting for the right feeling. The more you practice, even if it feels awkward initially, the more trust you build in your abilities. This practice-based approach works faster than trying to think your way to confidence. Recording yourself every few days reveals real improvement in camera presence when combined with daily mirror drills. You'll notice your posture becoming more natural, your expressions matching your words better, and your overall presence becoming more commanding. The combination of mirror work and recording creates measurable progress that you can track over time. Most people practice for weeks without knowing if they're actually getting better. Here's how to know for sure. The problem isn't that improvement doesn't happen. The problem is that most closers can't recognize when it's happening. They practice in front of mirrors, record themselves, and put in the work. But they miss the specific signs that show they're actually improving. The specific feedback signs that indicate improving visual communication skills are more subtle than most people expect. You're not looking for dramatic changes overnight. You're looking for small shifts that compound over time. These signs show up in your posture, your eye contact patterns, and how naturally you move when you're speaking. When you know what to look for, you can track your progress and stay motivated during the process. Many people practice incorrectly because they don't know what to look for in their own performance. They think improvement means feeling more confident, but confidence is actually a result of consistent effort rather than an inherent feeling. Without clear markers to track, they waste time practicing the wrong things or give up too early because they can't see their progress. The early signs of improvement in camera presence and body language start showing up within the first week of consistent practice. Your shoulders naturally settle into a relaxed position instead of staying tense. Your hands find comfortable resting positions instead of fidgeting constantly. Your breathing becomes deeper and more natural, which affects your voice tone and energy level. Another early indicator is your eye contact patterns. Instead of looking away from the camera every few seconds, you start maintaining steady contact with the lens. This doesn't mean staring without blinking, but rather looking at the camera as if it's a person you're having a conversation with. The shift from scattered attention to focused presence is one of the clearest signs of improvement. Your facial expressions also become more natural and responsive. Early in practice, most people's faces stay frozen in one expression or change too dramatically. As you improve, your expressions start matching your words automatically. You smile when discussing benefits, show concern when addressing problems, and display enthusiasm when sharing success stories. Analyzing your recorded practice sessions effectively requires a systematic approach. Watch each recording 3 times with different focus areas. First time, watch with the sound off to evaluate body language only. Look for natural gestures, steady eye contact, and relaxed posture. Second time, listen with your eyes closed to assess vocal delivery. Third time, watch normally while taking notes about specific areas to work on. During the body language review, pay attention to your gesture timing. Are your hand movements supporting your words or happening randomly? Do your gestures stay within the camera frame? Are you using open hand gestures that signal trustworthiness or closed fist gestures that can seem aggressive? These details matter more than you might think. The progression markers that indicate you're on the right track include speaking from alignment rather than trying to impress your audience. When you speak from alignment, your words match your beliefs and experiences. This creates authenticity that shows up in your voice tone and body language. You stop trying to sound perfect and start focusing on being helpful. Consistency in showing up is another key progression marker. The more frequently you see yourself speaking authentically, even if awkwardly, the more you start to trust your own voice. This trust builds over time through repetition, not through waiting for the right feeling to strike. Your energy levels also become more controlled and appropriate. Early in practice, most people either have too much energy and seem hyperactive, or too little energy and appear bored. As you improve, you learn to match your energy to your content. You increase energy slightly to hold attention during explanations, then dial it back during more serious discussions. Getting external feedback to validate your progress involves asking trusted colleagues or friends to watch your practice recordings. They can spot improvements you might miss because you're too close to your own performance. External observers often notice when your delivery becomes more natural or when you start appearing more confident. Professional feedback can come from other experienced closers who understand what good camera presence looks like in sales contexts. They can point out specific improvements in your opening energy, your transition smoothness, or your closing confidence that you might not recognize yourself. Recognizing genuine improvement versus false progress requires understanding the difference between temporary changes and lasting skills. Real improvement shows up consistently across multiple recordings, not just in one good session. You can reproduce good performances reliably instead of having random good moments followed by poor ones. False progress often feels dramatic but doesn't stick. You might have one great practice session where everything clicks, but then struggle to repeat it. Genuine improvement is more gradual but more sustainable. Each recording shows incremental progress that builds on previous sessions. Feedback signs like natural gestures, steady eye contact, and relaxed posture tell you your visual communication skills are improving because these elements work together to create authentic presence. When all three align consistently, you project the kind of confidence that translates directly into sales success. This foundation of improved camera presence creates measurable results in your closing conversations. Here's the moment when everything clicks, when your new camera presence starts converting prospects into buyers. This is the transformation that separates good closers from great ones. After weeks of mirror practice and self-recording, you reach a point where your camera confidence becomes automatic. Your prospects feel it immediately. They lean in more during calls. They ask fewer skeptical questions. They start saying yes faster. Mastering camera confidence directly impacts closing rates with US clients in ways that go beyond what most international closers expect. American prospects make trust decisions quickly. They're used to polished presentations and professional communication. When you project confidence through your camera, you meet their expectations for how a successful business person should present themselves. This alignment creates instant credibility that traditional sales training can't replicate. The specific moment in sales calls when camera confidence makes or breaks the deal happens within the first 30 seconds of your presentation. This is when prospects decide whether you're someone they want to work with. Your opening energy, your posture, your eye contact with the camera, all of these elements combine to create an impression that either builds trust or creates doubt. Most closers don't realize this moment exists because they're focused on their script instead of their presence. During discovery calls, camera confidence shows up in how you handle objections and questions. Instead of getting defensive or nervous, you maintain steady eye contact and respond with calm authority. Your body language stays open and relaxed. Your voice tone remains consistent. These visual cues tell prospects that you're experienced and trustworthy, which makes them more likely to share their real concerns instead of giving you surface-level responses. Confident camera presence builds trust faster with American prospects because it matches their cultural expectations for professional communication. American business culture values directness, confidence, and competence. When you project these qualities through your camera, you're speaking their visual language. They don't have to work to trust you. The trust happens naturally because you're presenting yourself in a way that feels familiar and professional. Visual authority and prospect compliance are directly connected in virtual sales environments. When you project confidence through your camera presence, prospects naturally defer to your expertise. They're more likely to follow your recommendations during the sales process. They ask fewer challenging questions because your presence suggests you know what you're talking about. This dynamic makes closing easier because you're leading from a position of strength rather than trying to convince from a position of weakness. I've seen closers increase their conversion rates by 15 to 20% just by improving their camera presence. One closer I worked with struggled to close American prospects at more than 18%. He knew his product inside and out, but his camera presence was hurting his credibility. After 6 weeks of consistent mirror practice and recording review, his closing rate jumped to 28%. The only thing that changed was how he presented himself on camera. Another closer saw even bigger improvements. She was closing at 12% and felt like prospects didn't take her seriously. Her English was excellent, but her camera presence was tentative and uncertain. After implementing the mirror drill system, she started projecting authority and confidence. Her closing rate increased to 31% within 2 months. The transformation was dramatic because she learned to lead conversations instead of just participating in them. Camera confidence compensates for accent or language concerns by by creating visual authority that overrides verbal hesitations. When prospects see someone who looks confident and professional, they're more willing to work through communication challenges. Your strong camera presence signals competence, which makes prospects more patient with accent differences or occasional language mistakes. They focus on your message instead of your delivery method. The compound effect of visual and verbal confidence creates a powerful impression that builds trust and authority. When your camera presence supports your words, everything you say carries more weight. Your recommendations sound more credible. Your explanations seem more authoritative. Your closing statements feel more natural. This alignment between what prospects see and what they hear creates the kind of trust that converts into sales. Physical confidence also affects your vocal delivery in ways you might not expect. When you sit up straight and maintain good posture, your voice projects better. Your breathing becomes deeper and more controlled. Your energy level stays consistent throughout long calls. These improvements in vocal quality happen automatically when you improve your camera presence. The momentum from improved camera confidence builds over time. Each successful call reinforces your confidence, which shows up in your next call. You start looking forward to presentations instead of dreading them. This positive cycle creates better results, which creates more confidence, which creates even better results. Mastering camera confidence directly impacts closing rates by building instant trust and authority with US clients. When prospects see you as a confident professional, they're more likely to believe in your ability to solve their problems. This trust translates directly into higher conversion rates and bigger deals. The investment in camera presence pays dividends in every sales interaction you have. The transformation affects more than just your closing rates. Your overall professional presence improves. You feel more confident in all video communications. You start getting positive feedback from prospects about your professionalism. You begin to see yourself as the authority figure you've been working to become. The difference between where you are now and where you want to be is just 30 days of consistent practice. That's it. 30 days of 15-minute mirror sessions, 30 days of recording yourself every few days, 30 days of applying what you learned during real sales calls. The gap between struggling with camera presence and projecting professional confidence isn't years of training or expensive equipment. It's 1 month of focused effort. Picture yourself 3 months from now. You hop on a sales call with a high-value prospect. Your camera turns on and you feel completely comfortable. Your posture is naturally confident. Your eye contact with the camera feels like a conversation with a friend. Your gestures support your words perfectly. The prospect leans in during your presentation. They ask detailed questions about implementation instead of skeptical questions about your credibility. By the end of the call, they're asking about next steps instead of saying they need to think about it. This transformation creates a ripple effect in all your professional interactions. Your confidence on camera carries over to in-person meetings. Your improved posture becomes your default way of sitting. Your better eye contact skills help you connect with people in any conversation. The visual authority you develop for sales calls makes you more persuasive in every professional situation. You start seeing yourself as the expert you've been working to become. But here's the thing that separates successful closers from everyone else. Most people know what to do, but won't take action. They watch videos like this one, take notes, maybe even bookmark it for later. They think about starting the mirror practice routine tomorrow, then tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next month. 6 months later, they're still struggling with the same camera presence issues because they never actually started practicing. The camera confidence you build affects every aspect of your professional life. Video calls become opportunities to showcase your expertise instead of obstacles to overcome. Client presentations feel natural and engaging. Team meetings become chances to demonstrate leadership. Even social media content creation becomes easier because you're comfortable being yourself on camera. The skills compound across all areas of your career. The long-term career benefits of mastering visual communication extend far beyond closing more deals. When you project confidence and authority on camera, you become someone people want to work with. Prospects refer you to their networks. Colleagues respect your opinions in meetings. Managers consider you for leadership opportunities. Your improved camera presence becomes a foundation for broader professional success. For international closers working in US markets, this competitive advantage is massive. American business culture values confidence and professional presentation. When you master camera presence, you're competing on equal terms with native speakers. Your visual authority compensates for any accent or language differences. Prospects focus on your expertise instead of your delivery method. You become the kind of professional that US clients expect to work with. The skill compounds over time to create lasting success because confidence builds on itself. Each successful call makes you more confident for the next one. Each positive interaction reinforces your professional identity. Each month of practice makes the skills more automatic and natural. What starts as deliberate practice becomes your normal way of presenting yourself. The investment you make in camera presence pays dividends for years. Starting the practice routine immediately is crucial because momentum matters. Every day you delay is another day of missed opportunities. Every sales call where you don't project confidence is potential revenue lost. Every prospect who doesn't trust you visually is a relationship that never develops. The cost of waiting is higher than the effort required to start. The practice routine itself is simple. 15 minutes of mirror work 3 times per week. Recording yourself every few days for a review. Applying what you learned during actual sales calls. The system works because it's sustainable and focused. You're not trying to become a different person. You're just learning to present your best self consistently. The transformation accelerates once you commit to the process. The first week feels awkward but shows promise. The second week brings noticeable improvements. By the third week, you're starting to feel natural on camera. By the fourth week, prospects are responding differently to your presentations. The changes happen faster than most people expect because the skills are learnable and practical. Your success depends on starting today, not tomorrow. The closers who achieve the biggest transformations are those who begin immediately after learning the system. They don't wait for the perfect moment or the ideal setup. They start with what they have and improve as they go. This approach creates momentum that carries them through the entire development process. The mirror drill system gives you everything you need to transform your camera presence. The structure eliminates guesswork. The progression keeps you motivated. The results speak for themselves, but the system only works if you use it consistently. Knowledge without action creates no results. Professional confidence and charisma transform virtual sales interactions and career trajectory when you apply them consistently. The skills you build through mirror practice become the foundation for every future success. Your investment in camera presence becomes the multiplier that amplifies every other professional skill you develop. The question isn't whether the system works. The question is whether you'll commit to using it. Your product knowledge, objection handling, and closing techniques all become more powerful when delivered with authentic presence. Without camera confidence, even the best sales skills fall flat because prospects don't trust what they see. Here's your challenge. Record yourself today doing a 2-minute sales presentation. Then start your first mirror drill session tonight. Spend 15 minutes practicing expressions, posture, and gestures. As the research shows, confidence isn't a feeling that you have. It's a result that you built, 1 rep at a time. 6-figure closers aren't born. They're made through deliberate practice.